Today, I have something important to share with the collective. This might resonate with many of you, so let's dive in. I'm sensing the energy of someone who is a natural giver. You're the type of person who has a big heart, always willing to help others in any way you can. Whether it's your time, energy, love, advice, or even material support, you're quick to offer what you have because it's in your nature. Helping others makes you feel fulfilled, and you genuinely want to see the people around you thrive and succeed. But here's the thing, being a giver is a beautiful quality, but it can also be exhausting and even harmful if you don't know when to draw the line. There's a very important lesson here. As much as giving is a gift, you need to set boundaries, but you need to know when to stop. Why? Because the more you give, the more people will take. That's just how human nature works. Not everyone you help will appreciate your efforts, and some people may even take advantage of your kindness. These people are sometimes referred to as energy vampires. They're the ones who keep draining your energy, taking everything you offer without giving anything back. They don't necessarily do it on purpose, but they've grown so used to your generosity that they take it for granted. You might find yourself feeling tired, unappreciated, or even resentful after dealing with them. Now, if this resonates with you, it's important to take a step back and think about what's happening in your relationships. Are you giving too much? Are there people in your life who take and take without giving any back? If so, it's time to create some boundaries to protect yourself and your energy. You might have a nurturing or motherly nature, and this doesn't depend on your gender. Whether you're male or female, you have a caring personality that makes you want to help others. You want to see the best in people, and you believe in their potential even when they don't see it themselves. You're the person who gives advice, encourages others, and tries to guide them toward better choices. This could apply to any relationship in your life: romantic partners, friends, family members, co workers, neighbors, or even business associates. You might have noticed a pattern where you're always the one giving your time, giving your attention, giving your attention, giving your love, and giving your love. You're there for others when they need you, offering them support and encouragement even when it's inconvenient for you. However, there's a challenge that comes with being this kind of person. Sometimes the people closest to you don't appreciate your efforts. They might not take your advice seriously or even dismiss it altogether. They might not realize how much you're doing for them or how much energy you're putting into helping them. In some cases, they might even make you feel bad for trying to help. Have you ever experienced this? You give someone advice because you genuinely care, and instead of listening, they make you feel like you're overreacting, meddling, or being too controlling. They might accuse you of making a big deal out of nothing, or they might brush off your efforts entirely. It can feel like no matter how much you do, it's never enough for them. This is where the saying, a prophet is not recognized in their own home, comes to mind. What this means is that the people closest to you, the ones who see you every day, are often the ones who overlook your wisdom and take you for granted. They've grown so familiar with you that they don't see the value in what you're offering. Strangers, on the other hand, might appreciate your advice and guidance far more than those in your inner circle. If you've been in a situation like this, you might feel frustrated or even hurt. You've been trying to help, giving your all, and instead of gratitude, you're met with resistance or indifference. This can leave you feeling unappreciated and questioning whether it's worth continuing to give so much of yourself. Here's the truth: it's okay to step back. You don't have to keep pouring your energy into people who don't appreciate it. You've already done your part. You've given your time, love, and effort, and that's enough. It's not your job to fix everyone or to make them see things your way. Sometimes people need to learn their lessons on their own, and the best thing you can do is let go and focus on yourself. Stepping back doesn't mean you're giving up on them. It simply means you're choosing to prioritize your own well being. You're recognizing that your energy is valuable, and that it deserves to be respected. By setting boundaries, you're protecting yourself from being drained and creating space for healthier, more balanced relationships. If this resonates with you, take some time to reflect on your relationships. Are there people in your life who take more than they give? Are there situations where you feel unappreciated or taken for granted? If so, it's time to make a change. Start by setting clear boundaries. Let people know what you're willing to give and what you're not. Don't be afraid to say no when something doesn't feel right. Remember, you deserve relationships that uplift and support you. It's not selfish to prioritize your own needs, it's necessary. When you take care of yourself, you have more energy and love to give to the people who truly value and appreciate you. This is your reminder to focus on yourself and your own growth. You have a kind heart and a giving nature, but that doesn't mean you have to give endlessly. Choose relationships that bring balance to your life, where you feel valued and supported. And don't forget to take time for yourself to recharge, to reflect, and to nurture your own needs. In the end, being a giver is a beautiful quality, but it's only sustainable when you also take care of yourself. Set boundaries, protect your energy, and remember that it's okay to step back when you need to. You're not just helping others, you're also showing them the importance of self respect and balance. Sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we have friends, family, or people in our lives who come to us with their problems. They might come to us over and over again with the same issues, especially when it comes to their relationships. For example, they might be having trouble with their partner, whether it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, or anyone they're involved with. Every time they have a problem, they come to you for advice, hoping that you help them solve it. You listen to them, try to offer some advice or suggest ways they could improve their situation, but it feels like nothing changes. They don't follow the advice you give them, and they keep making the same mistakes even though they asked you for help. It can be frustrating, right? You try your best to help, but it feels like your words just fall on deaf ears. Despite your efforts to guide them, they don't seem to listen or take your advice seriously. They just keep doing what they want to do, even if it leads to more problems. And before you know it, they come back to you again with the same complaints and issues as if nothing has changed. This can be emotionally draining because it feels like you're putting in a lot of effort without seeing any positive results. People like this can be referred to as energy vampires. This is a term used to describe people who drain your emotional and mental energy. They come to you with their problems, and while you're happy to help and give them advice, they don't make any effort to change or grow from the advice you give them. They just keep taking your time, attention, and energy without ever giving anything back. It's almost as if they only want to take from you and they're not interested in giving anything in return. This can be exhausting because it feels like you're giving and giving, but you're not getting anything in return. When you're constantly helping someone who never takes your advice or shows any appreciation, it's easy to feel taken for granted. It's important to recognize when a relationship has become one sided. Relationships, whether they're with friends, family, partners, or co workers, should be balanced. They should involve give and take from both sides. If you're always the one giving and the other person is always taking, it can lead to burnout and emotional exhaustion. It can leave you feeling drained, frustrated, and unappreciated. You might even start to wonder if the person truly cares about you or if they only value you for what you can do for them. This is when you need to start setting boundaries. It's okay to distance yourself from people who continuously take from you without ever offering anything in return. It might feel hard at first because you want to help them and you care about them, but over time, this kind of relationship can hurt you more than it helps. You deserve to have relationships where your time, energy, and effort are appreciated. You deserve to have people in your life who not only listen to your advice, but also take it seriously and try to change or improve based on it. If someone consistently refuses to listen or make an effort to improve, it might be time to take a step back. Once you decide to distance yourself from these kinds of people, something interesting often happens. They start to realize what they've lost when you're no longer there to support them, give them advice, or listen to their complaints. They might begin to see things differently. They might start to notice that their life isn't as easy or as comfortable without you in it. They might realize that the support and care you gave them were important and that they took it for granted. They may even have an awakening or realization that you were the one person who really cared about them and wanted the best for them. This moment of realization can be powerful, but it usually doesn't come until you've stepped away from the situation. When you were still around, they might not have appreciated your presence. They might have been too comfortable with you being there to see the value in your advice and your support. They might have even ignored the things you said, convinced that they knew better or that their problems weren't as serious as you thought. But once you leave or stop being as available, they begin to understand that you were right all along. They start to see that you were trying to help them, not because you wanted something from them, but because you genuinely cared about them. This is often when they start to realize their own mistakes. They might start reflecting on how they treated you, and they might begin to see their own flaws more clearly. For example, they might realize that they kept blaming you for their problems when, in reality, they were the ones who were not listening or making an effort to change. They might think back to times when you gave them advice and they didn't take it seriously. Now that you're no longer around, they might feel regretful and start to realize that they should have listened to you. They might even begin to see that they were the ones who were causing their own problems all along. It's a painful process for them because they might have ignored your wisdom and support when they had it, and now they're left with the consequences of their actions. People often don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. It's only when you step away that they start to realize the value of your presence in their life. They might even come to the conclusion that you were the one person who truly understood them, cared about them, and was always there to offer support without judgment. But it's also important to remember that while these realizations might come, it doesn't mean you should go back to the same patterns of one-sided giving. Sometimes people only realize what they had when it's too late, and while that may seem unfair, it's a natural part of growth. If someone truly cares about you and realizes their mistakes, they may come to apologize or try to change. However, it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to give them another chance. In life, it's essential to surround yourself with people who appreciate you, value your time, and are willing to give back. Relationships should be built on mutual respect, love, and support. If you find someone who gives to you selflessly and treats you well, hold on to them because such people are rare. But remember, you are also worthy of love, support, and respect. Don't let anyone take your energy for granted, and don't be afraid to walk away from situations or people who drain you. In conclusion, people who continuously take from you without giving back are not healthy to have in your life. They may be comfortable with your presence, but they don't realize your value until you're gone. By stepping away from these one-sided relationships, you might make them realize how much they've lost and how important you were to them. But even if they realize it, you have to make sure that any future interactions are built on mutual respect and understanding. You deserve to be appreciated, and you shouldn't settle for less. I've always felt like I was the problem in certain situations, and because of that, I think I ended up carrying more of the burden than I should have. But now, other people are starting to see parts of themselves that they need to improve, and that's good for their personal growth. However, you need to be careful because many of them who are trying to come back into your life haven't truly done the work on themselves. They might have finally realized they were part of the problem, but they haven't fully taken the time to understand why or how they need to change. They've only just started to recognize their flaws, but that doesn't mean they've actually worked on them or made any progress. When these people come back into your life, it's important to understand that they may not be coming back because they've grown or changed. They might be coming back because they miss you, they miss your presence, or they simply want to be around you. It could also be that they want to take from you emotionally or energetically without really giving anything back. These people might not have spent the time reflecting on their own behavior or figuring out how to become better people. Instead, they've just realized that they had something valuable in you but didn't appreciate it when they had the chance. Now that they feel the loss, they want to get it back, but they still haven't done the internal work that's needed to make sure they don't repeat the same mistakes. This is why it's so important to protect your peace in this time. You've worked hard to heal and grow, and not everyone is meant to be part of this new, better version of yourself. When you understand your worth, when you know what you bring to the table in relationships and interactions, you become more careful about who you allow into your life. There are people from your past who haven't yet figured out how to make peace with themselves. They are still at war with their own emotions, behaviors, and struggles. And the only way they feel they can move from this inner conflict to some sense of peace is by reconnecting with you. But you must remember that this doesn't have to come at the expense of yours. You need to use your discernment carefully. Not everyone who tries to come back into your life is meant to be there, especially if they haven't done the work on themselves to truly change. You can't keep giving your time, energy, and love to people who aren't ready to do the work on themselves. If they haven't made any effort to become better or to grow, then they shouldn't be allowed to take your time and energy. In this season of your life, you should make room only for those who have truly worked on themselves, who are committed to being better people. You don't have to carry the burden of others' growth or fix people who aren't ready to change. Anything that doesn't help you grow or maintain your peace shouldn't be your responsibility. You have the right to protect your emotional health and peace of mind. The people who are meant for you will not take from you without giving back, and they will also respect the work you've done to get to where you are now. I hope this message brings you the peace and clarity you need to make the best decisions for yourself. Stay focused on your own growth and don't let anyone disrupt your inner peace unless they're ready to put in the work to improve themselves too. You are valuable, and only those who see that and have done the work should be allowed to be part of your life. Take care of yourself and always protect your peace.